Hello, it's Sally at Dotty B here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be showing you how to embroider onto water-soluble fabric and produce flowers. There's one. I did have two. I've gone and lost one. Oh no, there it is. There's the other one. Yeah, water-soluble fabric to make little flowers. I'm doing this because I'm just getting prepared really for next week's prompt, the Roxy prompt, which is all about the field notes. The topic is field notes, and it's kind of based on the country diary of an Edwardian lady and the books all that it contains. So I've got my books ready, and I wanted to show you this book as well. This book I've had for a long time, and it first introduced me to sewing on water-soluble fabrics to get individual flowers, or individual anything really, but mainly it was flowers, which was this book here. And I thought I was flicking through the other day and thought how appropriate it probably is for this prompt. I'll just show you some of the pages. She uses, although this isn't this is Creative Hand Embroidery by Sue Newhouse, and I think she teaches, or she did teach. I don't. This is quite an old book. I had it in about '98, I think it was, and I think see, Sue Newhouse was actually, she was active in the 70s and 80s and probably 90s. I don't know what date this, I think it's 98 this, but I can't see where it's, okay then. So this was first published in 93, and I must have had it in about 98, which would be about right. I think she's a teacher because she's got a lot of students working here, which are these kind of things, but it's like embroidery, and then it's adding other things to it, which I thought was quite nice. This is lovely here, this floral picture here, and it's got a little trowel, it's got all the leaves that are kind of, it just gives a lot of depth and dimension to your piece when you're adding other things to it. This one she's using, this was the first book that I really looked at when I was sewing, that, you know, said it's okay to add stones to your work, you know, which is, you know, we don't always do, but, you know, it is a possibility. And then these flowers here are actually made with water-soluble fabric, and they're just attached after everything else has been put on. The same with these ones in the foreground here. These are all added on after everything else has been done. This picture here, I actually copied this and did this. But can I find it? No, I can't find it at all. And when I was looking through this book, I wanted to show you how to do this with this fabric. And I knew I had some fabric, or I used to have some fabric. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I went and ordered some online. And then what happened was, I saw this picture and thought, oh, I'm going to have a look to see if I can find this picture. And the book that I thought, I've got like a folder of old embroideries that I did years and years ago. And I thought, oh, perhaps it's in there. And as I was looking through this folder, I actually found my old water-soluble fabric, so I needn't have bought any, but hey-ho. Yeah, so this one she actually goes through and she shows you how to actually make the whole picture step by step. So these here are kind of put on afterwards, these tufted little thistly type flowers. But yeah, there's lots and lots of inspiration in here, which I'm going to hopefully refer to all of these lily pad leaves. Yeah, just different things anyway. So I just wanted to share that with you because that's kind of where I first was made aware of this fabric, which is this stuff here. You can still get this, because I've just gone and bought some yesterday. It's, if you just type in, I got mine from eBay, and I just put in water-soluble embroidery fabric, I think it was, something like that, and it's like this. It's like a sheet of plastic. So that's what it's like, and it is strong enough to put into a hoop. This I've had in overnight and it's just starting to get a little bit crispy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this back into its packaging. I mean, I've had this fabric probably 20 years and it's not dried out on me. It's always been in this folder here. So I will sort that out later anyway. I'm just going to pop that over there. So daisies, I thought I'd have a go at daisies. So this is the first one that I tried. Now this one had 6-stranded, although it's 3 strands of embroidery floss, just the DMC stuff or anchor that you can get. And then I used, for the petals, I used a perlé cotton. I only did one, and the reason why is because I didn't like the effect of the perlé cotton. I preferred the effect of the stranded cotton. There's one rule when you're sewing with water-soluble fabric that you really need to stick to, and that is every stitch must intertwine with another stitch. That's whether you're taking a tiny little strand of a stitch, it doesn't matter, as long as they're all intertwined, then that's all that matters. And then what happens is, I've just got my ball of water here, and then once you've got your fabric, I'm just going to trim around this a little bit, so I don't need to dunk everything in the water. You need to make sure that your colours aren't going to run, but then all you do, dip it in your water, and it's like a gel. It's almost like a gel that just dissolves. You have to be quite careful with it. Still, I can feel the stickiness on it. Just going to get all of the gel off then. So when you've done it, just give it a little gentle squeeze. And then I should have got your tissue paper. So there, like that. I can just feel all the gels to come off now. It's just, I can just feel water. And there you have your flower. Let me just pop that out of the way. And there's your flower. Let me just get a piece of, cloth just to blot it. And there's your flower. And you can use those, whoops. Then you can, once that's dry, you can use those and sew them on. And it'll just give, what you can do is you can manipulate the petals just so that it gives a 3D effect. And I don't know, I'm going to keep this one. I didn't particularly like the perlé cotton, but I am going to keep it and just see. So what I'm going to do is show you how I make one with this. I'm just going to make sure my hands are dry. Make sure your hands are dry, or your fabric that the fabric that you're working on will start to dissolve. So I've found, I've tried a couple of things just to give it a go. I have found that the thinner your thread, the better really. Although I'm going to use 3 strands for this because I want my flowers to look a little bit chunkier. I don't want them to look too delicate. So I'm using 3 strands of, I think this is a DMC. What's this got? Oh, I've already knotted it. That's why. And the thinner your needle, the better, because you don't want massive, I don't know whether you can see or not, but there's a couple of pieces here that I've tried already and my knot went through because my needle was too big. So you've got to keep your needle small and really as few strands as you want, but I want to use 3 on this one. I like to use more than 1 because, like I say, you need to interlace your stitches, and then it's easier to catch a thread if you've got more than 1 thread, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So what you do, I think you can draw on this. I haven't drawn on, let me just find my pen. This is a friction pen. You can kind of draw on it, but I don't know, once it's dissolved, I don't know whether that will come off onto your, I wouldn't like to say whether it would come off onto your threads. I'm not sure about that. But all I'm going to do is just visualise. Take that off. Visualise kind of, it's not even a perfect circle that I'm going to do for the centre. So start, I my advice is be very gentle, because although it's firm enough to get it into a hoop, it's not that firm that you can tug and pull, and it hasn't got that much strength to it, so you do have to be careful. So your knots need to be fairly loose, and don't pull anything too tight. So what I'm doing, I've done my first French knot. These are a cluster of French knots that I'm doing, and then I'm going to, hopefully you can see that I've taken a tiny strand of the thread from that knot, just caught it. You may get a little bit of movement, but don't worry, it will all come together in the end once you get a few down. And then just go a little bit away and do another one. Again, don't pull too tight. There. So again, onto the next one. I'm going to try and keep them into a circly type pattern if I can. But the ones that, this one here kind of went a little bit skew with, so I did that as a half flower. So you're looking at it not full on, but to the side. The beauty of this is you can see if your thread is tangling through the fabric. What have I done there? Try and get this going through. Okay. It doesn't look much at the moment and it looks a complete mess, but the more you get, the more knots you get together, then it will start to look okay. So just a tiny strand. I've got one of the strands. If you get a few gaps in between your knots, you can always come back and fill them up. I think they actually remind me of, you know, when you're in the garden and you maybe pick a daisy or a buttercup, and then you go and press them inside a book. That's what they remind me of, pressed flowers. So I'm hoping that I will be able to use my daisies as kind of pressed flowers in my book, or even my journal, my field notes journal, or even a daisy chain. I quite fancy making a daisy chain, but these are all, I don't know what our prompts are going to be. So who knows, but I'm hoping for maybe dried flowers, you know, petals in the pages of your book, or a daisy chain, something like that. I'm hoping to use them, even if it's just as a decoration around the edge of a page. That's what I'm going to be using my flowers for. So I'm keeping these quite loose knots. They're not really tight because I don't want to pull anything too tight. And also, when you're wrapping your thread, don't pull it too tight either, because you won't be able to get your needle through, and then you'll have to force your needle through, and then what will happen is it'll pull the stitch to the back of your work, and it's no big deal really, because you can pull it back forward, but it just helps if everything's on the front. So a couple of these did go through to the back, but I've gone through, but that one's kind of got a few holes in. I could probably go back and do a few more stitches on that one. And I'm doing 3 rounds of my needle. And you just keep going until you've got the right size that you want for the centre of your flower, hopping from stitch to stitch. Just remember, whichever stitch you go near, just try and grab hold of it with a strand of cotton, you know, try and get a strand, pick up a strand. What I'm saying, so we've got a hole here, so I'm going to go back here, try and fill this gap in here. Ah, there you go. I didn't hold my stitch down and I've gone and lost it now. There's my stitch. So all I'm going to do is just snip it off. Don't worry about that, just ignore it for now. It's no big deal. So what I'm going to do is, with my new thread, I'm just going to weave this in to just give it a little bit of something for all the stitches to hold on to. Okay, like that, and then just start again. So where shall I start? I'm going to start over here and pick up just here. And try not to let it go through this time. It's just when you have to pull your needle through a little bit, it can tug, because the fabric, the water soluble fabric, isn't very strong. It pulls your stitches through, so you just have to be careful. Okay, what's happened there is I've got, the hole is too big, so that might go through. Okay for now. I'm just going to uncurl my thread. Oops, a daisy, sorry. My thread has just gone a bit twisted, so you just need to lift your hoop up and let it dangle and it will untwist itself. I think we're nearly there for the centre. It's kind of looking roundish. I'm just going to go up and catch that one there. It's standing up a little bit too proud. That's better. That's lovely. Okay, so it's not a perfect circle or anything. What I'm going to do is just on the back, just do a little bit more weaving, and that will make sure that my stitches are kind of all intertwined a little bit. Okay. And I won't need a knot, so I'm just going to finish that off there. Okay, so for the petals, I am just, for the colour of this, I don't even know what colour it was, it's just a bright yellow for that one. This one here, I'm using, this is a very, very pale lemony colour, and it's a DMC, and it's 746. I'm not quite sure what I've done. I think I've probably pulled the wrong length because it's all knotting up and tangling. So I know there's a knack to it, but I'm not sure what happened there. So again, I'm using 3 strands. It's quite a long length, this is, because I'd like to do all of the petals in one go rather than stop and start if I can. Okay, I'll pop these there. Have I got 3? I thought I had 3, yeah. This size needle is a cotton darner number 5. It's the one I use for most of my stitching, unless I need something a bit thicker, and then I use my chenille 22. But so again, just going to weave through those stitches. And then start on the petals. The petals are all a lazy daisy stitch. So I'm coming up, and again I'm just catching the side of a knot. I'm just going to go all the way around. Just be gentle when you're going through your knots, because you don't want to pull them. Never mind, please, I've done it again. So how are you all today anyway? I haven't asked yet. Actually through the video, part way through the video, and I forgot to ask you. Hope you're all okay anyway. You're finding time to stitch and doing whatever it is you'd like to do. It's Sunday here today. It was nice this morning. We were up early doing our car boots, going around finding treasures. Got some great stuff today. It was a good day today. Stuff for the shop, stuff for... Oh, I don't know what I've done there. That petal is a bit small. I think I've poured it too much, and the soluble fabric has split. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so some really good bits. If you've seen my vintage haul video, you'll see the quilt that I got today and all the other linens that I got. The quilt is absolutely lovely, although it's got a massive burn mark in it. It's going to be great to cut up. I don't have any. I was thinking possibly mend it, but I won't use it. So I won't use it if I try to mend it. So I'm going to cut it up, and I'm sure some will go into the shop. I'll have some, and I might put some up online, on Instagram, wherever. It's in the wash at the moment because it's a bit grotty, bit grubby at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come up nice. The fabrics are great, so pretty. have to be terribly precise with this. I think, I don't know, the more higgledy-piggledy it is, the more vintagey it looks. Like I say, if they're pressed flowers, if they're going to be acting as pressed flowers, then that's kind of the look that, you know, that's what they look like, isn't it? When you press them, they do look a bit squished and higgledy-piggledy. So, even if we don't have a prompt about, I don't think we will have a prompt about dry flowers, but it'll be nice just to put some in, you know, like in the pages of the field journal, field notes. Right, do we want one more there? I think I might need one more just in between the gap. Apologies if you can hear background noise. The family's here and it's about lunchtime, I think, so it's feeding time. Whoops, I don't know what I've done there, but we do not want knots, because you don't want to pull knots or anything like that. You need to, if you get a knot, try and undo it gently. So that's our daisy. So we've got all our daisies now, and again I'm just going to go round at the edges of the flowers, petals, sorry, and just weave around. It just gives a little bit more stability. Like that. Okay, you don't need to knot it. Okay, so you just need to take it out of the hoop, and you don't need to. You can just immerse it if you want. It will all dissolve. But I'm just going to cut round. Each one, and with my bowl of water here, just pop it in. As you can see, that's dissolving already. Around. You don't have to put it in a hoop. The first two that I did, these two here, I didn't do in hoops. I just cut off a piece, a square, and just sewed on it by, you know, just holding it. But it's probably a little bit easier if you put it into a hoop, especially if you're doing a batch of them. There. Okay, so get rid of all that. It is starting to go crispy. It was a lot softer than that when you just get some scraps. Sorry, I forgot to get a towel, but I'll just use some scraps here. So can actually feel the, I don't know what it's made of. Let me just, where's the pack? Let me just see if I can see what it is. I don't know what it's made of at all. Oh, polyvinyl alcohol. It's like a plasticky polyvinyl alcohol. Whatever that is. It's not that expensive either. I can't remember how much this was, because like I say, I bought this 20 plus years ago. But obviously it lasts. It doesn't dry out if you keep it sealed up. But the one I bought yesterday, it's 1 metre by 30 centimetres, and that was about £4 something from eBay. So it wasn't very much at all. So it's quite inexpensive and it lasts a long time. So there's one. that one's done already. That one seems okay. That one feels like it's got a little bit more in. That one. And once they're dry, you can kind of manipulate them a little bit to, or as they're drying, you can manipulate them to, you know, back to the petals being even and everything, if you so wish to. Okay, that's the last one, I think. So I'm going to just pop that back out the way. Can we fit another one on there? Like that, and then there. Well, they're wet anyway, so you can see what they're like. I've got to sorry, all my hands are wet. And that one is kind of starting to dry out now, so I would just be, once it's drying a little bit, kind of manipulating the petals to how I want them, and then I will be either daisy. I quite like the idea of a daisy chain. I'm just going to it's all wet. Yeah, kind of like a daisy chain. It's probably not the best to show you. I haven't got anything else around. Or, like I say, press flowers in a book, which is, I suppose you could do both. But yeah, like a daisy chain, and then you can have like a green strand going round. But I'm going to let those dry anyway. So that is sewing with water soluble fabrics. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. It may have given you an idea, maybe not, but that's, although it's not the easiest thing to do, and you know, it is fiddly. I'm not going to say it's not fiddly, because it is fiddly, but I think, you know, if you just wanted a few, I think that would be quite effective. So I'm glad I've done that anyway. Oh, and there's my other one. It is dry, and I can just manipulate the petals. And what I will do with that one is just sew the middle, and then leave the petals free. So there you go. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed watching what I've been doing, and hope to see you next time. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.